we're waiting for a few others to arrive. We are opening up, there's a Jamboard, you'll see the link in the chat, hopefully. I'm going to keep posting this as more arrive. And we're giving a chance to everyone, just as we wait, to share maybe one thing that they have discovered in this past year of engaging with the Youth Empowerment Circle. This may be your first time of engaging with it, or you may have seen some things just that we have shared asynchronously, or you've joined some sessions in the past. But we'd love just to take a couple of minutes of peace and quiet, sharing some of these discoveries to begin with. And then we will be diving into a really exciting session of amazing speakers from across the circle sharing their experiences of this year. So as I let a few people in, it's wonderful to see so many familiar faces that have helped us along this journey. Super. Okay, it's great. We've got a number of people on the board as well. Welcome everybody joining in. Just for a couple minutes more, we're going to be firing down here one thing that we have each discovered from this year of the Youth Empowerment Circle, big or small. So as we're kind of waiting, do take a moment to add some of your thoughts. Feel free, you have access to this Jamboard over the course of the session. Do not hesitate to add anything else as well as we go through the session itself. And we will get started in a minute or so. Amazing. Discovered how many people are interested in helping others and empowering each other to make the world a better place. It shocked me in a positive way. That's great to hear. As you may be filling in a few points as well, you're also really warmly invited to share in the chat where you're calling from as well. Your organization too would be super. That would be great. And yeah, we'll get started very, very shortly. And feel free to doodle away on the Jamboard as well. Super. Networking is key to progress. Collaborating with others on projects, learning a lot. And a shout out to, thanks Paramita for joining for your amazing session this morning around youth in fringe communities. Yeah, it was a great precursor for me to get excited for this session this afternoon. Okay. Already some lovely points being shared. Thanks so much, everyone. Feel free to add during the session itself. I think we can get started. Thanks again for joining us here today from across the globe as well. For those that don't know me yet, my name is Ed Stevenette, Educational Program Manager with the Learning Planet Alliance, focused particularly on our community collaborations, how we can show up for each other over the course of the year, how we can build connections between youth, between universities, between NGOs, social entrepreneurs, artists, and much more, really united in this cause for the transformation of education. So it's so great to be with you here today. We've got an amazing set of youth and adults, for want of a better word. We're all youth at the end of the day, who will be sharing with us today some of their learnings from this year of the Youth Empowerment Circle. This is going to be an open and transparent space. So we really encourage everyone as well to be really honest in their reflections, thinking also, what might they want to improve? Looking forward ahead to the next year, what can we do better? But maybe what have also been some of the the unlikely connections that we've been able to foster over the course of this past year, learning with and alongside each other. What we're going to be doing over the course of the session is taking you through a bit of a narrative of the Youth Empowerment Circle over the past year. So if you can now hopefully see my screen, I've got a very neatly designed timetable of the year, and we're going to be taking you a bit through some of the things that may have happened. You may have joined with us at the very beginning. It's amazing to have Play here, who was an incredible intern with us supporting the start of this initiative. You may have joined midway through and just jumped in as particularly Keshav did, you know, back in September, and has been an amazing part of this journey, or the Youth Fellows in November and more recently too. Or maybe this is your first time kind of interacting with this community. And so we're going to take you through a bit of a journey to begin with. So we're going to rewind back to May 2021. We were joking at the start of this session that, you know, a couple of weeks before Catalyst 2030-2021, we started, there were a lot of emails firing around there's some amazing youth sessions happening at Catalysing Change Week, but we're looking and wanting to build more moments for connection. And so it was incredible to have a number of the Catalyst 2030 members come together and host a launch of the Youth Empowerment Circle in May of last year. And it kicked off 4 sessions of intergenerational exchange, where basically we had around 4 to 5 youth speakers joining in collaboration from an institutional representative, just to hear their expectations and what they feel they need for youth empowerment in the future and in the present. And this, one of the first sessions to start this off, was looking at helping youth to take a meaningful role in decisions affecting their future. So I'd love to give the floor first to Bethany Jennings from Children in All Policies 2030, one of the co-leads of this circle, who will share a bit about her experience in the context of those first sessions and what she has learned since then. So Bethany, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ed, and thank you for having me. I'm just always so inspired by these sessions, because it's just incredible to see the number of young people making, you know, all around the world, making real change. Yeah, as Ed said, I'm part of Children in All Policies, or CAP 2030 for short, and we launched just over a year ago with the aim to ensure that children and young people's needs are at the heart of all policies, and that policies are created to allow children and young people to thrive. So we do this through coalition building and through supporting partners in implementing different projects around the world. And if you want to learn more about us, you can go to our website. But from the beginning, we were really committed to learning from young people, to have children and young people really involved in what we do. But as we were exploring the area of participation, you know, we found that this is actually easier said than done, and we wanted to do it well. We didn't just want to say we were doing it. So we came with these questions to the Youth Empowerment Circle. We asked, how can we ensure meaningful participation? You know, what are the steps we can take? How do we avoid tokenism? And the session was just really amazing, and having a really lively and informative discussion and about what young people, what you felt we needed to do. And it's really shaped CAP 2030 as an organisation. So we're really encouraged by just how much interest there was, you know, just how much young people were really excited and interested about what we were doing. And we were just reminded how there are many different ways young people could be involved, but we needed to make sure that we demonstrated that was being done, and that we were taking on these voices and we were listening to them. And we were reminded that young people just have so much to offer, and so often are leading the way in areas that that we said we're concerned about. But then also, as Ed said, there was this real desire that came across for people to link and for there to be more spaces for young people to speak into. And so I think that's been a really exciting sort of progression of how the Youth Empowerment Circle has grown over the last year. And yet, so these are just some of the things that struck me, but just to say that really was, a very meaningful and formative beginning. And so just to give you a bit of an example of something that we're doing. So one of our main concerns is the issue of harmful commercial marketing to children. And, as we're considering this area, we have been looking at what young people have already said. So what consultations have already happened. We've been in conversation with a youth-led organisation that's been really at the heart of this area, and we're looking for more connections and more input from young people such as yourselves, and we're going to continue doing that. So yeah, so we've had first-hand experience of just how powerful this network is and everything that it can achieve, and I just think that I'm just really excited to see what the future holds. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bethany. And we're so glad to have CAP 2030 on board for another year of this collaborative circle. And indeed, one of our Youth Council members who's here with us, Almaz, was speaking, I believe, at one of the launch possibly of CAP 2030 last year. So it's nice to see some of the weaves being sewn together, which is absolutely wonderful. Super. Just to keep in mind that we'll be having several spots to open up the mic to the audience, ask some questions. So if you have anything for Bethany, feel free to put it in the chat, or we'll do a bit of an open mic later in the session as well. So do keep that in mind too. Okay, as we jump forwards, so moving to September 2021. One of the key outcomes of the session with Bethany is that we really needed to improve our capacity as a network, as a wider community in bringing youth into kind of the strategic development of our youth community and of the Learning Planet Alliance more broadly. And so we launched, as a result of that session, a call for our first International Youth Advisory Council in September of 2021, blown away by some incredible applications from around the world. And after a very painful process, I know that several members of the jury are here today. I remember well Paramita, Bethany too, I think Asher as well, and will concur how challenging it was to bring down the group of applications to 18 final members of the Youth Council. You'll be able to see their profiles. I think they'll be added into the chat shortly. So these 18 are youth coming from 14 countries, already connected to a range, a multitude of other organizations as well, and really coming to meet together on a monthly basis to help to lead the development of this youth empowerment community. They've also been taking part in a huge amount of other forms of collaboration, co-creation, consultation with other networks too, being incredible representatives of the circle, speaking at a range of different global events as well, and connecting to members from across the world. But instead of me talking about this, I'm really glad to give the floor to Raven, one of our amazing council from the Philippines, to share some of her experience, what she's been up to over this past 9 months or so with the Youth Council. Raven, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Raven Frias from the Philippines, and my youth council story started last September. I remember it was late at night and I couldn't sleep because I was feeling lonely because of quarantine, and I felt like I couldn't do anything worthy. And I was scrolling through social media and I saw the post about the call for youth counselors. They asked the question, "Are you passionate about youth empowerment?" And I thought, yeah, I am. And so an hour before the deadline, I didn't think twice and submitted my application. And fast forward to now, I feel very grateful that I have met 17 other co counselors with the same passion as I am. And to be with them, along with the amazing facilitators and mentors that we have, always make me feel inspired that there are lots of people like me who are feeling the strong need to do something about our world's problems. And in just a span of 9 months, I have joined the Transitions for Higher Education Circle. I met Weekend Access, which is an edtech startup on inclusion and accessibility. I actually joined them this year as their social media manager. And with the education group, we have Gen Z, a social media campaign. And for my personal project, I built a team to establish a literacy program and a learning hub for a fishing community here in the Philippines. But my most favorite part is I have met friends who I can exchange ideas, resources, and opportunities with, which is probably like the best thing. And at this point, the ripple effect of the Youth Council has become impossible to trace. And more than the networks and the opportunities I got, I'm grateful that I gained different perspectives into diverse cultures, a change in mindset when it comes to the social issues that we face, and making a sustainable impact and the importance of collaboration throughout this whole process. And the Youth Council experience contributed a lot to help me become a stronger youth leader that empowers other youth as well and is confident to lead other people. And I will also emphasize the impact of having organizations and engagement like these, especially in this social climate. And for me personally, that the Philippines is going through a tough battle right now. And I hope we produce more spaces like these because there are thousands or even millions of young people like me who are longing for this kind of empowering community of fellowship, of diversity, of warmth, and who needs that push to look at the world and think of what we can do to make a change. And because I got that experience from the youth council, and I will always feel grateful for that. So that's all for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Raven, for representing 18 incredible youth, incredible friends. And it's been just an amazing experience getting to know them over this year, learning from them, particularly as well. So I'm so privileged for that too. Wonderful. So we are now thinking around October 2021, and as we opened up this council, we wanted to provide and see how we can really build connections and collaboration across youth in very, very different contexts, differing levels of internet connection, different backgrounds as well. And an amazing support to this was Keshav Gupta from the Dais team, founder of the Dais in Delhi, who helped to kick us off in this journey through intercultural training and led us as well in support with some amazing other youth organizations into the Learning Planet Festival in January. So Keshav, I give the floor to you to share some of your experience and learnings from that period.
Thank you so much, Ed. I see many familiar faces who we have met over several meetings, consultations. So, firstly, a big congratulations to all of us, all of you, especially to our youth fellows for the 1 year anniversary. And I think this has set some really high standards for the forthcoming years to follow in. This also funnily sort of marks our 1 year's almost 1 year of joining the Catalyst community from where we collaborated with the Learning Planet. So also just best wishes for the Catalyzing Change Week to all our members. Now, while we were discussing about the youth fellows, I think issue that we were dealing with, or we were really concerned about, that when youth and such talented, energetic youth meet together, sometimes that energy can be so explosive that it needs to be harmonized together. It needs to meet each other very gently and in a very constructive way. And since these fellows were coming from 14 different countries, and as I discovered, and I'll share some of my learnings during that time, that with so many different backgrounds, we thought that an intercultural communication workshop will be a good idea to not only break the ice between the fellows, but also help them understand each other better. And with that view, I mean, one of my sort of still favorite memories is when we discovered that we had Hugo, who was, I think, based in Paris, and then we have another very, again, incredible leader who is based in Nice. And the two of them, when we spoke with our group, we found out that they are both French, but they can relate more and they have more similarities to people outside their countries with fellows from other different countries, rather than just how they feel within the group itself. So right from there, we got to partner up with Almas and Karan when we were looking at the future of education for a Model UN conference. And again, like, I'd attribute the leadership and energy of our youth fellows, because when we pitched the idea of a Model UN, it hadn't been done previously at that level. And all of a sudden, we had a couple of youth fellows who just enthusiastically said, yes, this is a good idea, this must be done. So really, I sort of saw from their energy and the fact that when we say that we want them at a decision-making level, that they're actually making the difference, and actually that is leading to influencing our respective thoughts, and individually as well as collectively. So I could already see that aspect. And further, then we have been also working with we work with the fellows on the Earth Day co-creation session. I know Sheen will be talking about it, but let me again just say that in a short span of time, the kind of things they came up with, I found adults to be less efficient sometimes, adults including myself. And their ability, and I think that's one thing we should learn from all of us, is their ability to believe that something is possible. Their ability to look past the barriers sometimes of pragmatism that we call pragmatism, and their passion to withstand all these challenges, especially when they arrive, because when challenges arrive, they arrive at the moment they arrive to us. But when we think, we already create all those challenges in our minds. So one thing that I definitely gained and learned from the entire collaboration with all the fellows was just to believe that things can be done, and then start our sort of mindset from there. So that's that. And I think I'll conclude my sort of my part with just I think recalling my first conversation with Raven, who had mentioned that she wants to build a library in Philippines for the youth community there. And when I heard her again, like just right now, talk about the literacy program that she has already created over there, so that makes me very, very proud. And I think that's just one story. There are 18 such stories we have with all the fellows, and then council members, and as well as the fellows. So we look forward, and in fact tomorrow we are again having Almas and Karan join us for the future of education and the follow-up session from the Learning Planet Festival as a part of the Catalysing Change Week. So I think our actions sort of speak as loud as they can, in that sense that we truly emphasize that more young people should have this floor, and that they can create a lot more change. So thank you once again. On final note, I'd really like to appreciate the hard work that Ed and the entire team has put in all the time in coordinating meetings, emails, documents. I think these sometimes go unnoticed, but they possibly can't. So Ed, Sinan, Olivier, everyone, just really appreciative of what you're doing. Thank you so much.
I'm very touched, Keshav. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing as well. And we'll be hearing, I mean, your amazing kind of participation at the festival, we'll be hearing more from that very shortly as well. But we just wanted to open up for now, in case anyone had any questions for Beth, for Raven, for Keshav as well, then don't hesitate to put on your mic or put it in the chat, and we'd love to hear from you. And I want to see some lovely faces. Okay, now I've got my gallery view up too. Nikita, over to you.
Hey Ed, how are you? And congratulations to all of you. My quick question is for Raven, because she has been part of the Youth Council and I closely work with the Design for Change Student Council. So Raven, if you can share that, what has been your one biggest takeaway after working with the Youth Council, and specifically when children are coming from different countries and different contexts? I hope Raven heard the question. Maybe I think she's frozen there.
What I suggest, Raven has frozen, but we also have a few.
Any other fellow? Yeah.
Yeah, we have a couple of others. I believe I saw Almaz. You were with us. Almaz, if you're willing, if you're able to respond as well from your point of view, that would be super. And then we'll come back to Raven after.
Sure, I'd be happy to respond. I think for me, my greatest takeaway was that in the Youth Council, we are global citizens. And as Mr. Keshav said, we are more similar than alike. And just collaborating and sharing our cultures really helped us create a holistic circle. And I think we're set to implement so many more initiatives in the months to come. So definitely this isn't the end.
Thank you so much, Almaz. Thank you.
Thank you, Almaz. And then maybe to share, and Raven hopefully will be joining back with us. We kind of took the approach to really learn as we go, learn as we went with this council. And so we've had 18 youth who have also been incredibly patient with this being an iterative process. So some of the things that I think have emerged have been completely unexpected. And actually we'll have our David, who actually was with us in the team for 6 months on his master internship, is now doing his thesis around the impact of the Youth Council this year, as well as then for a project sharing a toolkit for how we've gone about doing it this year, sharing some honest learnings as well. This will be shared really openly too, and hopefully we've been hearing from the council members who've contributed to that too. But Raven, back to you. Did you manage to hear the question?
No, sorry. What was the question about?
So Nikita, go for it.
Yeah, so Raven, happy to have you back. My question was that what was your biggest learning after working with the Youth Council from different countries and different contexts?
I guess my biggest learning from the Youth Council is really the importance of communication and collaboration when it comes to the different cultures. You know, we have undergone this training, intercultural training, and we learned to be more sensitive about each other's, differences. And I learned that even though we come from different backgrounds, it's really possible for us to make these amazing projects together when we communicate well and when we just push for that passion that we have.
Thank you so much, Raven. Because Guadalupe, one of your youth fellow, has been the Design for Change Student Council last year. So I was listening from her, and she was gung-ho about the entire experience. So Ed, thank you so much for getting the children to have this kind of experience.
Well, I just wanted to say on that, thank you to you as well, Nikita, because one thing that's been in common with the circle, the organizations that have got involved, have been those that have been genuinely open to sharing resources, communities, ideas. And we're very conscious that, everyone, we always want, young people in our communities. And sometimes it can be difficult, understandably, to try to collaborate and share these learnings and resources. But from the real beginning, Nikita, you've been so open, and it's been incredible to have Guadalupe's experience all the way from Chile through being part of a student council as well, to help feed into these conversations too. And just on that point as well, really glad that we've got Marie, we've got John, Shrana Lakshmi is supporting in the background too. who from the Provisional World Children's Parliament, who we've been discussing with since the festival, sharing learnings too around youth decision-making spaces. And so hopefully before the end as well, we'll be able to hear from you both too. We're going to be having a co-created session with a couple of our youth council and some representatives of the Parliament to continue to exchange these resources and build a wider base of knowledge around, how to really meaningfully bring youth into decision-making and advisory spaces. So there we go. Are there any other questions at this stage for our first three speakers? Hello, Van Pekka. Good to have you with us. Okay, for now, wonderful. You'll be able to come back to questions as well very shortly later in the session. But we move forward, we continue with the rhythm. And if I just get back to my timeline, this is also very useful for me to track the journey. So we move to January 2022. And at this point was a big kind of touch point or milestone for the Youth Empowerment Circle, because we had our Youth Empowerment track of the festival. And I'm slightly shifting the order here, so I do apologize, speakers, but I'd love to give the space to Kenneth Kwok from Kids for Refugees and the wider CASIS 2030 network to share a bit more about what he experienced during this festival week, about the Youth Empowerment track itself and any of his other learnings from this year with the circle. So Kenneth, over to you.
No, thank you. Look, I will keep this short. As you know, everyone, we have the big Catalyst 2030 of Catalysing Change Week this week. And of course, Learning Planet is playing a very key, critical role in that. So my first takeaway is everything that our organization have done during Learning Planet Festival, the people we meet, the youth that we empower, and to the youth that empower us as adults. I always think it's so important to remind everyone that it is not a one-way street. Every day we deal with you, we find ourselves more inspired. I feel younger. I feel healthier, right? So thank you, you, for everything you do. So my first point is, before I got distracted about feeling younger, is that yes, every day during this week in Catalysing Change Week, I kid you not, through the events, I'm connecting with people back at Learning Planet Festival. That's how truly inspiring that festival is, because everything we meet, all the connections we make, don't think of it as a one-week festival. Think of it as a year-long engagement of a bigger and growing community of change makers, intergenerationally making impact. That's point one. Point two is, look, there's the Youth Council, there's the Youth Fellows Program. We have a very, very exciting Youth Fellows Program, soon to end nominations. So for those of you who have friends, please make sure they apply by May 22nd. I think I'm correct on the deadline. Thank you, Ed and Sheena. Right, yes, we need more of you, because the sooner you come join our community, imagine inheriting a community of 200 other change makers your age around the world. I wish I had that when I was in high school and university. So thank you, Ed. Thank you to Learning Planet. Thank you to the whole team for making this happen. So yeah, come join our community. And finally, number three, for the Learning Planet Festival itself in January, I can't wait for next year. It's one thing that we did was that we hosted a hackathon called STEM X SDG Hackathon. We had 6 students around the world coordinating it, designing it, orchestrating it. We had 70 teams around the world pitching their 4-minute idea. We love social entrepreneurship. So please, if any of you are thinking of, hey, I am young and I want to become a social entrepreneur, come to Learning Planet Festival next year and we got you covered with all the training and also a lot of knowledge transfer. So thank you so very much for this quick chat with everyone. I wish all of you the best and keep the great work coming. Thank you, Ed.
Thanks so much, Kenneth. Always for your energy is wonderful. And yeah, it's, I mean, true, this week, it was not a coincidence that we launched the circle at Catalysing Change Week. It's a space where things happen, connections are made. And it's been amazing that we've had so many people continue on board, be part of both the Catalyst, wider Learning Planet networks. We are, Olivier, part of the Learning Planet team, is the co-chair of the education chapter of Catalyst. And this Friday, we've got a consultation session with 40 youth from Catalyst 2030 organizations around the world. It's a consultation session where they are helping the co-writing of Catalyst education reports, which will be fed as well up towards UNESCO in this year of the Futures of Education reports. So it's really great to be able to see these threads being weaved. We're really glad for that. Just to rebound on the question in the chat, the festival takes place every year around the International Day of Education on the 24th of January, and then runs over the course of a week. And so we've got tracks dedicated to youth empowerment, transitions in higher education, learning for sustainability, teachers, arts and education. I'm forgetting many, but there's a lot of things going on there around celebrating learning to take care of oneself, others, and the planet. And so we'll be opening up and sharing more details about that. We've had youth fellows who are going to join on board in a bit of an advisory group for the festival this year. Everything starts earlier each year too, so you'll be getting more info about that as well. And a special thank you as well to some of the other voices I see here, Ima from Designathon, Keshav, of course, from Dais, Paramita, Diksha, Asha. We had so many, I think Loreen as well, so many organize some amazing events during the week for youth, with youth as well during the festival. And we're so delighted, hopefully, to have you back as well next year too for the celebration. And thank you as well to Kenneth, for giving the context and mentioning around the youth fellows. This was something that, if we go back to the timeline, was launched in November 2021. It was really seen as a space to connect young individuals with the Learning Planet Alliance community, the wider youth empowerment circle, and give them a space particularly to connect with each other, to consult in workshops and co-created workshops, and really to actively to create meaningful learning spaces, to discover some of the amazing organizations that are involved in this youth empowerment circle. And it's been such a joy to get to know them over the course of our monthly drop-in sessions. And we're in the phase now, as Sinan will share in the chat, of another call for youth fellows. We want to continue growing this community, giving a space, an entry point for young individual game changers into the wider community that we have building here. And so it's amazing, firstly, to give the floor to Victoria, who will be able to share a bit of her experience, not just as a youth fellow, but in the NGOs that she set up and in other events that have taken place within our community very recently. So Victoria, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, my name is Victoria. I'm 17 and I'm from France. I'm actually originally Polish, but I've been living in Paris for around 2 years now. I'm one of the youth fellows at Learning Planet. My work focuses on educating others about the refugee crisis, and I am a founder of an NGO called the Esprit de Corps Project, which educates youth about refugees, as well as empowers them to help local refugees through resources such as online webinars, guest speaker events, fundraisers, and donation collections. I decided to become a youth fellow because I wanted to reach others who share the same passion of helping others, just like I do, but also to grow my project and find potential members that could collaborate with us. And in fact, the headquarters of the Learning Planet, if you don't know, are in Paris. So I was very fortunate to be able to meet in person with Ed and also other members of Learning Planet. And I was offered resources, I was offered help, and even the space of the Learning Planet Institute, which is an amazing advantage. And it's great to see others empowering youth towards changing the world, basically. And that also brings me to one of the recent events I've been part of with my team from the Esprit de Corps, which was a 2-day-long hackathon called Hack for Peace. It was a hackathon with the objective of bringing peace to those impacted by the crisis between Russia and Ukraine through many different ways. My team chose the topic of fighting against misinformation. And it was truly an amazing experience to first of all meet others who share the same passion, who want to collaborate and help, but also to be able to gain even more resources to make change. So we were able to collaborate with other individuals, to meet people from around the world. And over the course of the weekend, we worked on our solutions to the problems that occur with such crises. And this allowed my project to grow, but also really change my mindset as an individual. And just once again, great thanks to the Learning Planet and everyone organizing it, because you've done such a great job to create a meaningful event and have an impact not only on us as individuals attending, but also on refugees and everyone else who's impacted by the crisis. So thank you again once more, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Victoria. So wonderful to meet you in person. I wish we could meet everybody in person. We're going to have to start organizing this in the coming years, that's for sure. And it's great to start to see the connections build as well between other projects and other initiatives too. And that's something quite incredible, that with most of the youth that we have got to know through this initiative, they've either founded an NGO or they're part of another network or organization. And it is kind of truly quite incredible. But something that we've also been really thinking on, and I'd love to pass this on to Mia now, is how we can also best learn to take care of each other. And we're very aware that there is an incredible amount of opportunity. It's also can be incredibly overwhelming. I know that as a relatively young person as well. And so this is something we're learning together, how we best take care of each other, particularly the young people in our community too. So that's really going to be a goal, and any feedback from any of you that have kind of helped to run and develop youth communities on this. We're starting up a working group around building inner peace for young game changers alongside Masterpiece, who we got to know well at the festival. And so anyone that would love to or be interested to discuss or share on that, do just drop me a message. We'll be glad to bring you into that. On which note, I give the floor next to Mia to share some of their experience as well as they've joined on board this Youth Fellows initiative. Over to you, Mia.
Hello, everybody. I am Mia Redfrog. I'm a 19-year-old student social worker from Kerala, India. I hope you're all doing well. I am safe and sound. And I'm so excited and grateful for this opportunity to share my experience, because my experience has been amazing. So my very first meeting call, I do remember that very vividly because I was unable to attend it. And I felt so guilty and sad. But I remember my second call even better because I didn't attend that as well. And what was interesting was it was because of my mental health. I wasn't feeling okay. And I remember writing an email to Ed telling him that one more meeting would crack me and I can't go through that phase. I really wasn't expecting a response in return, but to my surprise, I did receive one which told me that the team was proud of me for choosing my mental health over anything else, and get better soon, and we're here to support you. And that has become my motivation to attend every single Learning Planet meeting. This theory is so true if you have ever been in any space. Last week, we were in a space with Seenan and Ed and Sheen and so many others, and we were cracking jokes and making fun about our ages included. And they prioritize everybody. Like that's something that I've felt. We prioritize every single person in the room, and it's very, very fortunate, lucky and very rare to find a space like that. Also, I mentioned Sheen a lot of times because she's one of my closest friends here in the team. We talk about everything and anything, including who wore best looks to the Met Gala, who has crush on whom. We share memes, also talk about things like gender equality and the very recent abortion laws in the US. So everything under the sun. And again, particularly for me, I love learning. I really enjoy learning, even if what I learn might not be useful for me. But as the name goes, Learning Planet, from the moment I've been here, I've learned so much. Things as simple as efficient listening to something as complex and important as Ubuntu, or making spaces more accessible, or eco-anxiety, or permaculture, and so much more. So when I was about to ask, I asked Ed to clarify what I was supposed to share. And so Ed brought up the idea of rose, bud, and thorn. And I'm so sorry because I've not had a bad experience yet. I've absolutely loved every moment here, working with these guys, making inside jokes, and sharing ideas, but also a very non-judgmental space. And for me personally, it helps me be a better human being, be more conscious, concerned, and just peaceful with what I think and what I achieve, which for some of us with anxiety, depression, and other spirals, many young people have existential crises now. So if you have one, high five, you're not alone, me too. But yeah, it's super common, and it just makes me become a better person. And even new things like delivering a very informal presentation like this, because it's very, very rare for me. I've absolutely enjoyed my time, and I really look forward to the other projects and the other things that I want to do here. Thank you so much, guys. I'm honored.
Oh, thank you so much, Mia. That's really so kind. And I remember to say Mia, not Maya, as well. And yeah, it's really wonderful to have these kind of open conversations as well, particularly around well-being, something that we're learning definitely as we go, the importance of that too. Wonderful, I see in the comments, we've got Sheen +1, and I pass it on to her next to share some of her experience, but particularly thinking about the co-creation part of what we've been trying to do, because this has been something that's emerged particularly since the festival, really kicked off by a lot of the events in the Youth Empowerment track that were probably the most interactive events, I think, throughout really the festival. And we're really focused on building momentum as well. One of these particular was around a range of events organized by the Earth Day network. And this built connections, and we led up towards the Earth Day on the 22nd of April, and in collaboration with Earth Day India, with the Dais, with Tears of the Earth as well, we put together a series of events bringing together youth, notably our sustainability group of the Youth Council, talking about making sense of sustainability, bringing their organizations together, but then also a co-created session with other youth fellows programs around building kind of partnerships for climate action. And so it's great that we had Sheen representing the fellows there alongside a few others, and we'll give the floor to you to share some of your experiences.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sheen Tyagi, and I'm a 17-year-old changemaker from India. It is my great pleasure to represent the Youth Fellows community along with Mia and Victoria today. I'm thankful to the entire Learning Planet community. The past year has been incredible for me. I've had the chance to connect with amazing and passionate changemakers from around the world. I remember how at the beginning of my changemaker journey, at the age of 15, I was also scrolling Instagram when I saw the opportunity to become a part of the Learning Planet community, just like Raven. And I did apply, and I got into the Youth Fellows program. And so my experience at the Learning Planet community is like super professional, yet very creative, interactive, and collaborative. It has been an eye-opening journey and transformative in shaping the way I think. Learning Planet has been my first fellowship, and I never expected it to be such a wonderful experience, which came along with various opportunities and a huge learning curve for me. Along this journey, I've met fantastic, brilliant, and talented people from around the world who are also working for similar causes and are being humane towards others without any sorts of preliminary hesitations. At Learning Planet, I've learned what it truly means to be compassionate, at heart, unconventional while taking action, and bold to take risks and not lose the chance. And so I would like to thank all the amazing Learning Planet staff members whom I've had a chance to interact with. Ed, thank you for being such an excellent mentor to all of us. You share wonderful opportunities with all of us. Not to mention you're super cool and our favorite person in the old category. I was laughing throughout today's meeting whenever someone said, I'm feeling young, because we remember what we said in the last meeting. Anyway, Pauline, thank you so much for welcoming me so warmly and for writing my countless LORs for opportunities. I know I've troubled you a lot. Also, a big thanks to Rika for offering the opportunity to publish my thoughts as part of the Youth Voices series. Thank you, Sinan, for facilitating our conversations and being an active member of our discussions. We are elated to have you as part of our Youth Fellows group. And yeah, big thanks to all my fellow Youth Fellows, especially Mia, you're the best. But everyone else, you all rock. You are amazing, courageous, and innovative. And it's so great whenever I connect with any one of you. So a special mention that I would like to add and talk about is the Earth Day co-creation session that we had. And I was part of it, and it was a wonderful session. So we worked on ideas which can further be implemented as projects. It was a real food for thought process, which made me think about what more I can do, what more we all can do to further change in our community and aid people in getting their voices heard. It was a wonderful experience. And I feel like Keshav mentioned, we were given just 1 hour to come up with a really good project with timelines and how we are going to prosecute that and work on it. And so I feel that the point that he mentioned, that we all are very innovative and we look forward without seeing the barriers. And I think the optimism is really good, and we can actually bridge the intergenerational gap to kind of work on it in reality as well. So yeah, I look forward to seeing all the people who were there in that process on the Earth Day co-creation session. But you should know that you all can join in too. So if you're interested in joining, please do let us know. We would love to have you. Thank you for giving me the floor, and it is a great pleasure to be here and to celebrate the 1-year anniversary.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Sheen. That's really wonderful. And that brings us to our collection of 6 amazing speakers who also kept so perfectly to time. So that is also very much appreciated. We were going to open up now to another round of any questions or comments that you have. Just keeping in mind that the final 15 minutes or so will be really dedicated to looking forward. And we really encourage everyone, we'll be doing a round of the speakers too, to see what they want more of, to share what they want more of, and what they want to see improved. How can we continue to iterate and develop this community together with the wider organizations forming part of this circle? So if anyone does have any questions or comments from what they've heard, then do feel free to put your hand up in the participant list, and we'll come to you straight away. And otherwise, we can take this moment to have a breath and a bit of a stretch too. Great, thanks for modeling, Sinan. That's super. Okay. Thanks for some lovely words for the youth, in the chat. Thank you, Uma. And yeah, do you recommend as well? You'll see Laureline shared some information about a youth circle series as well on sustainability. Keshav, maybe possibly just can come to you. As you mentioned, you've been really joining us on the co-creation sessions. You can share, because you did put in the chat, some of the other ones kind of coming up, notably tomorrow as well on the Model UN.
Oh, sure. So in the co-creation session, also let me express gratitude to Sinan for being one of our wonderful facilitators and really helping the group bring out some amazing solutions. So thank you, Sinan. So tomorrow we are actually going to be following up from the Model UN conference that we had put together during the Learning Planet Festival. The theme was the future of education. And again, based on the Future of Education report of UNESCO this year. Now we are going to be gathering back some of our representatives from Afghanistan, India, different delegates who had taken part. And we are also having Almas and Karan, who are again our Youth Council members, who were the chairpersons and the co-secretary generals of the Model UN previously, and we were doing UNESCO simulations. So now we are going to be discussing our learning reflections and further how can youth contribute to the future of education. So that's one, and then I'm taking the liberty of disclosing this like a little bit, but then all of us are also looking at how do we now create a showcase pitching opportunity for the the sessions, the results, the projects that Sheen and all the other fellows had developed. How do we take them ahead and possibly get mentorship, different kind of network supports for implementation of these? So we are looking at the International Day of Youth potentially, but just waiting for the Catalyzing Change Week to conclude. But the idea is that there are solutions and there are actions which manifest the solutions in reality and create that impact. So I think one of these interesting opportunities for all of us is now how do we support together the youth empowerment circle at large towards implementation of some of these solutions. So thank you so much, Ed.
Thank you very much, Keshav. And to mention that as well, we, as you may know, the Learning Planet Alliance was co-founded by UNESCO as well. And we are discussing right now with a UNESCO team behind the Futures of Education report around how we can bring youth this year into really global pitch for ideas on transforming education. And we'll be keeping you all in the loop on that, because that was one of the feedbacks, incidentally, from the Model UN, is that this is great. We're providing this moment for collaboration and connection, but we want to know as well that we have spaces to be heard too. And so since then, we've kind of been in conversations on that. And so hopefully we'll be sharing some exciting news on that very soon too. I did get a message as well from Anam, another one of our wonderful youth council members, who had a comment to make. So Anam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ed. Hello everyone. I was at university and just back to home. So it was, I'm a bit late to join the session. So I am very happy to be here now. And I was listening to the wonderful people, especially Keshav. And, I was just remembering, he was in our mentoring session in the early sessions. I just remember. So yeah, it's been such a blessing part for me to be the part of youth empowerment circle. I was never think about it. I never expected about it, but yes, now I am that confident that I'm talking before 40 plus people, that whoever joined this, and they are belonging to different regions, different topographies, different thoughts, and different, everything we believe we are exchanging now. Especially I have built up the connections with Ed so much that that we can easily contribute to whatever I need help anywhere. So yeah, we have built up those connections, especially in sustainability group. And moreover, I believe that if such communities started working in for the youth, we can develop and we can power the youth as well. So moreover, it's been so motivated, it's been so blessing that we are being guided, we are being mentored, we are being that much empowered that we are allowed to do the things that we are wanting to do. So it's one of the biggest opportunity that I received in last 2021 year, and now I formally call myself a staunch feminist, a staunch women in leadership, that I own my I really own my social enterprise. And moreover, now you all can and everybody can now can reach me out easily. I'm a bit confident rather than my 2021, and I always feel like I cannot be the part of such organizations because I do not deserve, but now I feel like I could be something. So yeah, now I am happiest youth activist and working hardly for my community, especially for the indigenous community, either for the leftist politics, either or something my climate action project. And moreover, the thing that the major and core idea that I'm working on nowadays is thalassemia free planet. So yeah, that's how you can all follow me on Instagram, on my social accounts. I'll be sharing the links. And thank you, Ed, for grooming me to this, and rest of the staff members who believed in me to be part of the Youth Empowerment Circle. And it's been such a blessing for me. And I'm happy to call myself as a global citizen now. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anam. That's wonderful. And yeah, we are trying to always find the best ways of connecting the youth, being able to connect as well with the youth fellows, the youth council. So you'll be able to see on the website as well that has been put into the chat too, the links to see the gallery of all of the youth council and the youth fellows as well. So do not hesitate to check that out. If there are not any questions for now, and feel free to put your hand up if you did have one in mind, we wanted to do just one round, a bit of a popcorn round with the speakers from today, just around thinking more for this year moving forward, what they would like to see more of, what they may like to experience. Just before we do that, I kind of wanted to give you a bit of a picture to go back to my timeline document of some of the things that may be coming up as well moving forward. So we've now got up to May 2022. We're in the phase now of doing a call for the youth fellows, the young individuals, to be part of this community. So I think the link will be put back again into the chat. We would be really grateful if you can share that. Feel free to nominate any youth or share it with your community. The goal is that we can help to build as many bridges between youth and youth organizations as possible. Moving on into the rest of the year. So as mentioned, we've got the UNESCO Transforming Education pre-summit and summit that we'll be sharing some further information about, where there's a real commitment and engagement to bring youth into these consultations. In July, at the end of July, we'll be having an open session where the Youth Council, the working groups on sustainability, rights, health, and education will be sharing some of their advice following their year of collaborating together for the initiative. And we will hopefully as well be able to announce the next wave of the Youth Council starting in September of this year to really take us through the next year and build on the amazing work of our inaugural council from this year. We'll be sharing there as well some of our learnings as a team and with hopefully other organizations that have been such a big part of this in putting together this first council, some outcomes from that too, and we'll be sharing all the information about that very soon as well. Moving into September, with the council handover, we'll also be having the International Day of Peace. And so, as mentioned, we've really been building focus and attention on inner peace for young change makers. So this is going to be something that we'll be building on with Masterpiece and other actors around the International Day of Peace. So again, we'll be sharing some of that information with the community. In November, we'll be coming up to Youth Rights Day, and these are just some of the kind of touch points for the community over the year. So there'll certainly be co-creation sessions there around that day. as well as doing another wave and call for the Youth Fellows community to continue to build it over the course of the year. And then January, as I'm sure you can imagine, there'll be another iteration of the Youth Empowerment track. It's going to be bigger, better, more collaborative, exciting than ever, building on the success of this year. So again, there'll be lots of events, opportunities to propose collaborative sessions as well that we're hoping to see emerge as well from the circle, with continued opportunities for trainings and co-creation moving into the year as well. So that just gives a bit of a picture of some of the touch points coming up over the course of the year. What I would love to do is feel free to add some of your comments, reactions in the chat. Also raise your hand if you would like to share. We've got about 20 minutes together of this session now moving forward, and we'd like to give this space for a quick round, first from the speakers and then from the community, of what you would like to see more of, improved, new, to come up over the course of this year. Sinan is really kindly taking as well notes in the document in the Jamboard as well. We'll put the link again into their chat too if you want to add anything directly there. But I'd love just to pass first possibly to Victoria, if you're with us, maybe to share, what would be one thing that you would like to see more of in about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll pass on to the next speaker. So over to you.
Hi, so I think what would be most important for me is just to see the collaboration aspect growing and growing. It's already a very great, and I'd even say tight community of different individuals really engaged in collaborating, but maybe if we could extend even more, it would be great.
Super, thank you very much for that. And we're continuing to try to bring on board the networks. Anyone that has any questions around how we're collaborating as well, we'll be putting in the interest form into the chat, as well as my email as well, for you to connect to and ask any questions that you may have. Pass to Raven. What are your kind of thoughts and hopes for this coming year? What do you expect to come up?
Honestly, I'm just so excited about the possible collaborations that can happen between the youth circles and the networks of organizations that you guys have, because there is so much more to do and there is so much more to happen that could really make that positive impact that we're longing for. And I'm so excited to see that.
Thanks for mentioning Raven, and that when you mentioned circles in plural, that's something that we're really trying to explore and improve on, is open up spaces to bring, a few members of the community together, as we have done, for example, with around youth mental health, around youth councils too. We're really trying to build on this a bit better to keep it as fluid and organic as possible. So that's something on a personal level we'd love to see develop, as well as space for more local interactions. Has been some feedback from a few different organizations too. So we're exploring as a team how we can best facilitate that and connect people as well on a local level too. I'll pass the floor. Bethany, did you want to share for this year coming up what you're looking to experience maybe more of, to see improved? Go for it.
Yeah, I think it really struck me just how important connections and community is, and that it both empowers people, but also, is good for people's well-being. And so I would love to see how the learning from this year could be shared more widely, and particularly maybe with a special thought to, young people who maybe don't have as much access to the internet or don't speak French or English, so groups that might be excluded for different reasons, like how can they be reached and included as well?
Thanks so much, Bethany. That's something that's come up particularly in the past couple of weeks as well. I'm just going to fire into the chat a link. It's to an excerpt from our Learning Planet community drop-ins that we have every month. And we invited Amna, another youth fellow, to share there. She is truly incredible, has set up an NGO around tech education and STEM education for girls, particularly in Bangladesh. And it was just so powerful and good that actually we just saved it immediately, her excerpt from this session as an MP4 audio file. And I've just been sharing this quite organically with some organizations that may be interested. Do feel free, if you have 20 minutes, if you're traveling, do take a look at that in the coming weeks, and do let us know what you think. It really is meaningful, and you'll be able to see some of the intergenerational conversation there as well. And that's something we're trying to do a bit better, work out how we can make the most, for instance, of WhatsApp communities, making use of the tools that are used particularly in regions, areas with lower bandwidth as well, and then provide more kind of space to consume and gather information, whether it's through audio or text, knowing that, you know, many don't have the capacity to be able to join just synchronously as well throughout the year. So any other suggestions anyone has on that, please do let us know as well. I think we'll pass on to Mia. Mia, do you want to share next what you're maybe looking forward to experience this year as a youth fellow in the wider circle too?
Sure, Ed. So for me, this community and this experience is very empowering. It helped me understand that I could do so much more. And I really look forward to spreading that message to the new youth fellows coming in as well. For people who think that they might not be able to do anything, this reflection is more than enough to show them that we're the same people and we can do so much more together. So I definitely look forward to that kind of empowerment, and touching on everything else everybody said, along with that empowerment also. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mia. Great, and we'll pass on to your best friend, Sheen, for your next thoughts.
Thank you, Ed. I think that during the co-creation session that we had during the Earth Day, I feel that was a really good experience for me, because I got to connect with other organizations as well who are partners. And so I feel that this year, of course, I wanted to add that point that we reach out to people who do not have access to technology. Maybe, you know, they do not speak English, because over here in India, we do have that problem. Lots of students don't really speak English, so we can actually teach them, and or we can even give them in Hindi or the regional languages. So of course that is something that could be done. But for me, the other point that I really want to see is that we see collaboration between, you know, Learning Planet and other organizations, and we get to interact with those organizations and do more, not just at Learning Planet, but also at other organizations. So sessions like those, or activities, you know, all these activities really do help us in also figuring out what, you know, our niche is and what we want to do further. So yeah.
Super, yeah. And so I think there's this running theme around accessibility and how we can open up the space as well. Yeah, thank you. That's definitely noted as well. Keshav, do you want to go next? Yeah, from the youth organization perspective, what are you looking to see more of this coming year?
Although I think Sheen has already sort of made that point very clear, so I think there's a lot of scope of cross collaborations between the youth at our youth empowerment circle and other youth organizations that are and networks which are working. So just that increased interaction, value addition mutually, and translating all of that into real impact, because I think that's what will renew the momentum of the next set of cohorts when they see that certain visions have been realized in reality, and some action has actually happened. So I believe that most of the young people now want to act more than ever. So that's where, and we commit ourselves definitely towards supporting that with the Learning Planet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Keshav, and to the speakers again for this feedback. Really, really appreciate it. We have 15 minutes left together. I know I've had to go to other Catalyst 2030 sessions as well. But we wanted to just use this final 15 minutes as an open mic kind of session, really just to hear from you, continuing on what you want to see develop, new, improved over this coming year. We'll possibly be nominating a few of the council members that I see here, in case we don't have too many voices too, so do get thinking as well. But yeah, we'll open up the space. If you could just put your hand up, that'd be really appreciated. If you have any ideas or suggestions, even if you haven't taken any part of this circle, but have your fresh thoughts or ideas for how this space could be useful in the coming year, then we'd really love to hear them. I'll go back to you first, Sheen.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a point because this is my personal observation that like people of our age in South Asia don't really have the opportunity to kind of go forward and speak our minds. Actually, I was speaking with Mia about this when she was interviewing me for the ECAP interview, and the fact that the policymakers and the older people don't really value our opinions because we are said that you're kids. For all those in India, they say tum to bache ho, okay? So it's just that I feel that there is a need to kind of amplify the voices of these youth and also to kind of inform them more that, okay, this is the problem. I feel that in India, yes, we are living in the urban area, so we do know about this situation. But if we talk about villages and small towns, you will see that no one knows what is really happening. And even if they know, they don't recognize it or they don't agree with it. They will say, no, this is our tradition, this is our culture, right? And I feel that, you know, doing this on the name of tradition and culture is really wrong. You know, and I feel that we really need to mobilize our young people so that when we go on forward to become the policymakers or change makers who are actually working for new policies in our country, we have people who back us up, who are aware of what is happening. So I feel that this is a huge element which most people won't know, but in South Asia, I'm sure if we ask anyone from South Asia that what are your views on the youth and their participation, most of them would say that they do not take part in participating in you know, speaking up, because we are usually condoned to not speak up for these matters. So yeah, I feel that something needs to be done about it. I'm not really sure what, but I just wanted to put it out there. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sheen. And it did remind me, one of my favorite sessions actually from January was hosted around the around children parliaments, showing case studies, and they were particularly based in India, but also in Greece, around how local children's parliaments have been implemented, often using methodologies around sociocracy as well. Really grateful that Marie and John from the PCWP are here with us. I'd love if there's an opportunity of one of you, Marie, possibly, if you're able just to share a bit more about that, and then based on that, some of your expectations and hopes for this initiative, particularly around giving the right spaces for young people to join in kind of advisory and decision making in communities.
So thank you, Ed, for giving us the talking stick. It's a pleasure to be here and get to know your youth empowerment circle. So myself and John Burke, we are working with PWCP, which is a provisional World Children's Parliament with children from all over the world, also collaborating around the SDGs and using sociocracy as a method of governance for decision making. So this is something we really would like to exchange with you. And we also have a collaboration session scheduled soon in May. So looking forward to meet you again. And I'll pass to John to check if you have anything to say, John, anything to add?
Yes, I'm looking forward too. I have lots of questions after hearing the session today to understand more what you're doing.
Thanks
and,
so much.
Delighted that you are doing.
Thank you, really appreciate it. I pass next to Katie as well, who hopefully will be joining that conversation. And Katie was also a headline speaker at the festival as well around our session on co-creating on new narratives for education. So Katie, yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Hi everyone.
Katie, your volume is very low. Possibly it may be your mic. Do you want to try again?
Hello?
There we go. That's good.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I had a problem with my speaker. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie. I'm 15-year-old from the US, and I'm part of the Youth Empowerment Council. And I've had such a unique experience because being in a different time zone and learning a lot about different cultures, that's been such a great experience for me. But I think something that's so important is, especially as we go into these initiatives, to try and just find like-minded youth members who want the same things as you, because I became a part of the youth rights circle in our council, and it has been so great because I work with 4 great change makers, and we've been working on a project all year and are finally starting to see steps made in this project. And just finding people with the same passion as you is something so empowering, because if you can find a group and narrative of people who are trying to share their stories and make an impact, it'll be so easy. So being a part of the Youth Council has absolutely changed my activism journey. And being just over the past 9 months able to work with Ed, who's been a fantastic mentor for everything we've needed, and across different zones, being able to work with people, it's so important to find your small circle and make sure that whoever you are working with is just as passionate about the change you want to make. So thank you. And it was so great to hear from everyone today.
Thanks so much, Katie, and a particular shout out to the rights group who have surpassed perhaps every time zone challenge possible, going from, I think there's the US, we've got Australia, we've got France, UK, Portugal in between. So if they can do it, then anybody can. And anyone that wants any advice around navigating time zones of a council, Sinan and I would be glad to share some good time converter tools, that's for sure. Thank you for sharing. If there's anybody else in the last few minutes that has a point, something to share, then do speak up. Otherwise, there are a couple of people I'd love to also nominate as well. Mia, yeah, go for it.
Hey guys, while we're here, I think it would be really cool to stress on climate action as well. A lot of us young people are doing everything we can for saving our future, but at the same time, we have this fear that we're not doing enough. Again, I was interviewing Sheen for climate action related things, but in India, particularly where I come from, and from a South Asia Pacific standpoint, global South, we're seeing so many amazing change makers working for climate action. But at the same time, we don't see enough of older people agreeing with us on climate action. And right now with the global North as well, we see the same thing. Lots of older people still disagree with us on this fear of not having a future. So yeah, collaboration and intergenerational agreement, I guess climate action is also something that's important to be spoken about. I'm just adding that. Thank you.
Thank you, really kind. Raven, over to you.
Building on what Sheen and Mia said about empowerment, I would like to raise the idea of youth empowerment groups having more active voices and taking stands in social issues that concern the world and the minorities, the climate change, the human rights violation, and stuff like that. I think it would be the ultimate application of what we're learning about youth empowerment if we're able to let the world know that, hey, this is what we think, we are a diverse group, and we have unified ourselves to say that this is what we stand for, since, you know, stands are stronger when it is done collectively. That's all.
Thank you, yeah, so much. Definitely fully agreed on that. And the circle started by trying to build some intergenerational conversation and dialogue as well. And so we're continuing and trying to do this more and more as we develop as well. Thank you for that. Any other closing comments from those who have joined us in the audience? Something that you'd like to see from this coming year? Okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes extra to add to your day today. Just before we go, for those that are comfortable and would be okay to turn on their video, if we could just do a quick screenshot to celebrate this moment, that would be really, really appreciated. So yeah, if there are any of those able to turn on their mic, their video, that would be incredible. Super, we have some videos coming up, that's great. Okay, this is good enough to go with. So I'm going to do 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Play. It's been so great to share this space with you today. Exciting to talk about and hear about next steps. I will be sharing soon after this as well some of the ideas, outcomes from this session today. Thanks so much to Sinan for so diligently taking notes. And particularly to the youth who have been an incredible part so far of this past year, as it grows as well, moving into the year ahead. Really excited for the next steps. And just before we close, you'll see as well, I think if you can have a look in the chat up, there's an amazing range of events during this week around youth empowerment, youth collaboration, particularly for social entrepreneurship, Catalysing Change Week. So do just search for that and have a look. I'm sure there'll be something to inspire everybody. But with that being said, going to wish you a great rest of the day wherever you are, and look forward to seeing you for some future conversations. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you so much.